Hi, thank you for joining me for day 14 of Scraptember 2023. This is a series by Laura Alberts and the Scrappy sisters, and every day they give us prompts to work from. And today's prompt for day 14 is cut files, punches, or dies. Now, I've used a cut file in the last couple of days. Couldn't be bothered to pull out my dies, quite frankly, so I'm going with punches. And you'll see I'm going to use circle punches. I've got my tab punch and also a notebook edge punch. So I'm documenting a photo of James on the slide back in 2009. This is from the same photo shoot, if you watched yesterday's video, that Kirsty took of them in the park in Warrington just before their second birthday. And this is James, as I say, sliding down the slide, and I've chosen to use Vicki Boutin's Where To Next with this photo. His t-shirt's got blues and reds in it, so I thought that this collection would work quite nicely. And once again, I'm working on a vertical layout. And here's my first punch, my notebook edge punch, and I'm just punching this black and white floral paper to use as almost as a piece of notebook behind James. So I've punched the top of the sheet, and then I'm going to sit the photo on top of that. You can see I've also pulled out some of the blue papers. I've got the cloud paper that I've torn a large strip from, and also a dotty paper that was just a scrap that I had left over from that. So they're going to layer up behind. Also this lovely script piece, which is actually the branding strip from the 12 by 12 paper pad. You can see there it had a hole in the middle, but because I know it's going behind the photo, it's absolutely fine with that hole. So I pulled out this from the 12 by 12 paper pad as well. I love this paper. It's got all the different stripes on it. So I'm focusing in on the black and white pieces and also that yellow strip that you'll see me cutting towards the end. I love that chevron. If you've watched me for a while, you'll know that I do absolutely adore chevrons. So that piece had to be used. And then this is the yellow piece. Now I made the mistake of cutting the two bits together, so it's a little, I just have to go carefully trimming this yellow piece off. I should have trimmed the end piece off first and then the yellow piece from the big block, and that would have been much easier. So there's a little tip for you. Don't have a think before you start trimming pieces of paper. I'm also going to use this journal tag from the cut apart paper. Again, this is from the 12 by 12 paper pad, and it says today, and most of it's going to be covered, but I'm going to have today peeking out the top of the photo mat, just like that. I'm trying to decide whether to put it on the right or left hand side, but it does end up on the left hand side. So now I'm going to start fiddling and faffing with these strips of paper, and I want them all to be offset against one another and layered up on top of one another. And I get the layering how I'd like it, and then I pull it apart to glue it together. And this isn't the first time, and I don't ever learn. I can't remember how I've put them. So I am pleased with the way it turns out in the end, but it's definitely not the way that you'll see me putting them together now. So I start by just checking that I'm happy with everything, exactly where that card's going to go. And I think I'm happy with that. So then I start punching out some of these circles, and I've pulled out my punches from 1 inch up to 2 inches with every variation in between, and they all work really nicely on this paper. So I'll show you me punching a few of them, but I won't make you sit through me punching all of these circles. But you can see I'm taking the ones from the edges as well as the full circles, because most of these are going to be tucked under and around this photo strip, the vertical strip. So they don't need to be full circles, so I may as well make use of those pieces that are around the edge. So I'm just having to fiddle and faff to get the punch into the right position to be able to punch out the ones that I want. So you can see the very edge of that piece is just nicked off, so that will be tucked under there, and then cutting to get to other bits. So there you can see I've made a really good start with that, and now I'm punching out a tab, and this will go, eventually it'll be moved. At first I just pop it there while I carry on building. And this is where I decide to pull everything apart, stick it down, and not in the position that it was originally. So I start by sticking this piece down the left hand side, and then I pull my T-square ruler out just to check that it is straight. It's very hard to tell with all the different things going on the page, so just pull that out and then move those to one side. I decided to curl the edge of this piece before sticking it down, just to give a bit of movement and texture to the layout. I do like to have different dimensions on the layout, so different heights of things, and rolling up your paper really does help do that. So I'm just going to butt this right up next to that stripy paper. Most of that gets covered, but it's a process, and if you don't layer, then you're not going to get the texture and dimension that I'm looking for. So next I'm going to put this chevron piece down, and already by the time I've roughed up the edges with my fingernails, I end up putting it the other way around through 180 degrees, but that's fine. Just as the chevron's pointing up instead of down as I originally thought I was going to do. So there you see. And then I can start building up these layers. And when I put this yellow piece there to the left, I realise that it's next to another stripy piece, and I'm not quite happy with that. So I'm going to do a lot of moving around now, trying to work out exactly where to put these. And in the end, I settle on moving that script branding strip to the left. So just, as you can see, moving and moving, and that's where I move that script branding strip. And I will turn that through 180 degrees as well, because I want to see the tape piece more, and at the moment that's tucked under that chevron piece. So on this layout, most of the time I'm actually using my nails to curl up the edges of the paper. That doesn't scuff them up and pull pieces of paper off. It just breaks the fibres along the edge and makes it a little bit wavy, and I really like the look of that. It's just a different texture. It does hurt your fingers after a little while, but I do like the look, so that's what I've done today. You could also very lightly go in with the distress edger or the edge of your scissors to do this, but I find the easiest way to do it is with my fingernail. So just gluing everything down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive back onto my favourite glue and tucking that under there. And you can see how I've turned it around, so at the bottom you can see that little bit of tape showing. Obviously it's not real tape, it's just printed on. So I'm using my edge distress on this big piece just to give my fingernails a rest. And then I'm going to decide exactly where that today card is going to go. So using my glue again to stick that down onto the photo, and then I can get that photo stuck down as well. Just fiddling about with those punched edges just to check that you can fully see that word today. So I'm still thinking of putting that tab there. Like I say, it does move in the end, but for now I've just rested it there. Now the very first circle I put on is to hide the bottom of that today tag. I wasn't happy with that showing, so I know I'm going to tuck that in. So to start, I'm going to mount this onto foam pads. These are the 25mm Sticks 2 foam pads. Just really easy to use. They come on a huge roll, last forever, and great for doing things like this. So you can see I'm putting them on either side of the photos and not down the middle, because there's already quite a lot of height to the layout in the middle with all those different layers of paper. So I'm just adding the foam pads to either side of those layers. And I can always come in and add more if I need to. So that's that situated. And now I can start building up these circles. So as I say, this first one, I'm going to hide that corner of the card at the bottom, and I am going to raise this up onto foam. Each of the circles, I do distress the edges with my fingernails just to give a little bit of a worn look to them. So that's the first one down, and then this blue one, I'm just going to layer underneath that and stick it straight to the layout. So getting lots of different layers on this. So we'll carry on going around and doing all this. So while I'm doing this, please do remember to check the description box down below of everybody else who's joining in on this fabulous hop. We're already on day 14, so nearly halfway through the month. And there are loads of people who have added their videos to the playlist. If you also go onto Instagram and follow the hashtag September 2023, sorry, Scraptember 2023, you'll see everybody who's joining along who isn't on YouTube, but they're joining along on Instagram. So loads and loads of inspiration for you there, and these prompts just give you a little nudge to create something different every day. I love Scraptember. You have the freedom to create, and there are also 3 sketches throughout the month as well, so that breaks up the prompts a little bit and gives you a little bit more guidance. So I'll carry on putting these circles down. I won't make you watch it all. I'm going to fade out now, and oh, maybe not now. I think I'm still adding them. It goes on for a little while, but these really do bring that colour all the way around the layout. Add those different layers, and I really enjoy them, and obviously using that prompt of punches as well. But this is a fantastic paper, and I've still got loads left on the sheet, so we'll be doing this again, I'm sure, very soon. And using up those tiny edge pieces as well, and bringing in some of the yellow and green as well as the red and blue. It just felt a little bit too flat with just the two colours, so I wanted to incorporate some more colours because it is James at the park after all. So so nearly there now, just tucking a few more in. This yellow one at the bottom, and then this green one, I'm not quite sure where to put it. And in the end I tuck this on the bottom and just take it off the edge of the paper. So I will cut off that bottom piece and then add that to the top of the layout because I don't like to waste anything. And that really takes your eye right the way down off the bottom of the page and off the top of the page as well. I do like taking my embellishments off the page like this. So like I say, not wanting to waste that piece, it just gets tucked in at the top there. Just deciding where to put this yellow one. And it gets tucked in on the left hand side there, and that completes the circles, I think. Yes, so now coming on to the sticker book, and straight away I see this sticker that says sunshine and good vibes, and it was a lovely sunny day, so I add that to the bottom of the photo where there's plenty of blank space there. It's just the bottom of the slide, and adding a foam pad to the left hand side just to keep that bit that's off the photo raised up as well. And then I find a little one that says take your camera, which I've added at the bottom, and then another piece here that I'm adding to that tab that says hey you, having fun. So I wanted to add that, so add that to the tab, and this is where I realised that it would be much better on top of that today tag that I've cut from the cut apart paper. So adding a couple of foam pads to that, again just to raise it up to the same level as the today tag. Getting that situated, and then just roughing up the edges ever so slightly to be in keeping with the rest of the layout. And then back onto these black stickers, and I find another one that says making memories, which I put on the left there, and another one that says the experience that gets tucked onto the right there. And in fact I then move that making memories one down. I feel it would look better attached to that little cluster of circles there. So keep going through these stickers, and I find one that says go outside, and it's gold foiled, so I add that to the bottom of the page. I just think that looks really nice and brings that black down there. And then I find another tab that I want to add the date onto. I can't remember the exact date of these photos, so I'm just putting June 2009, which is fine. I know where to put them in the album then. So now scattering some sequins. I do like to add a little bit of bling, and especially because it was a bright sunny day, these sort of emulate that sunshine all around the page. And I'm going to go in with two different sizes. First of all this one, and then a smaller flat sequin, again in gold. Well, it's more like a rose gold, the second one. And then coming in with my favourite We Are Memory Keepers whole reinforcer punch, and punching some black circles to add about. Now I don't make you watch me actually gluing all these sequins and black pieces down because that's very boring. So I'll just position them and then cut away so while I stick them down. And then the very last thing that I'm going to do now is cover the photo with my mattes and add some gold splatters with my gold watercolour paint. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I thoroughly enjoyed creating this. Took a little while, but it was really great fun, and it was lovely to get some more use out of my punches. Thanks again. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.